this is it, right? Harris is a symptom. She's a symptom of a system that's fundamentally fucked up. It's a system that is so bad that her inclusion in the system is the first red flag. That's the first red flag. The fact that she wanted to be part of that system as opposed to challenge that system is the first red flag for me, right?
I'm not targeting this person, but I need y'all to listen to what they said. They said that her wanting to be a part of the system, i.e. her actually wanting to be an attorney, like I'm assuming wanting to be an attorney general to affect law and to affect change was a red flag for them. Her wanting to be a senator, vice president, president, all these other things, wanting to be a part of the system is a red flag for them, as opposed to challenging the system. Now, on the face, sounds interesting, but let's extend the logic out. Because let's say you do challenge a system. You challenge a system, whatever system you want to challenge, and then you succeed in challenging that system, i.e. you win. What happens after you win? History is written by the victors, correct? When you win, after successfully challenging said system, you become the system. Isn't that what will happen if you win? And when you become the system, you then become responsible for the system and how the system plays out. What you're dealing with when you're dealing with a lot of these people is you're dealing with people who have no desire to be responsible, who have no desire to take on the responsibility of governance. They don't want it. It's too much for them. They'd much rather be constantly on the outside, fighting against something, as opposed to being the people in charge and making sure that things get done correctly. And the reason why is because to be human, to be in a society, means that you will always have some level of imperfection. And they and their idealism cannot cope with the fact that there will be imperfection. And they especially cannot cope with the fact that they would be responsible for imperfection. You can set up a system as great as you want it, as great as you can. You can do your absolute best to create a system that ensures absolute fairness for everyone. But inevitably, because of human nature, cracks will show. Somebody somewhere will find a way to circumvent whatever controls you put in place, to take money, to give themselves more power than they're supposed to have. And they don't want to be responsible for that. To accept society, to accept the reality of our situation means to accept the imperfections of human nature. They cannot cope with that at all. It is much easier for them mentally to be critiquing than to govern, than to participate. And so we will never, ever get anything out of these people because they are inherently terrified of the reality of imperfection. They know they cannot create an ideal world. They know that. They know it's impossible. And so because they know it's impossible, they have decided they will never fucking try. And that's who we're dealing with. And I'm not trying to be antagonistic towards this individual in particular, but I'm saying as a whole, as a group, this is why I call them cowards. And it also explains why they have an obsession with focusing on finding their ideal candidate, because can project their idealism into what they inherently know to be an imperfect vessel. And they can boost that imperfect vessel and pretend as if they're perfect, and then put them into power. And when that imperfect vessel inevitably fails, because they will not be able to meet all of the ideals and the idealism that they have in their heads, then they have an easy scapegoat, an easy target to push and project all of their animosity and their anger and their sadness and all of their negative emotions onto. So they can avoid responsibility by not actively participating themselves, by not actively getting involved in the system themselves, by not actively controlling the system themselves, but by sending a figurehead, mascot, put the mascot in position, wait for the inevitable that's going to happen where the mascot does not meet their requirements, does not meet their idealism, and then destroy the mascot and then do it again. And they think by doing this that they're participating in the society. There's something psychologically going on here that we really need to address, because they're not going to disappear, and we have to deal with this. And ignoring them isn't going to work. They have to be confronted with their, for lack of a better term, deluded way of thinking.